Hey there, YouTube. We're getting real close to that goal. You know what this is all about. It's that road to 315 bench press. Hell, you see me pin pressing 315 right there. We're getting right into it, folks. It felt good. The freaking rack height was a little too high, but it's still stimulus, right? It's still effective training. What you see me attempting to do is some pin presses to work on my weak point. I believe this is like really my first time doing them. As you saw, the bar was too high. A shorter range of motion allowed me to use more weight. Felt really confident. I added on, what is that? That's 325 on the bar, but I lowered the rack height just to the next one, a couple inches below. That made the world of a difference. I spent the next 2 minutes humbling myself, trying to find an appropriate weight. So I just found that funny and amusing, right? Like, geez, the difference between an inch, like that bar being higher and lower, it's a 70-pound difference. Like, but it was fun. It was fun. Why am I doing these pin presses, right? More specifically, I have noticed that my bench slows down when my arms hit that 90-degree angle after rebounding off my chest, where it's more lockout strength. It's tricep and a little bit of delt dependent. And so if I notice that's my weak point, it only makes sense to attack that, right? Again, I said in a couple of videos, when I hit 305, I'm damn positive I can hit 315 at this point, but I want it to be good, right? I don't want an ugly rep. I want to secure the PR. I want my P's and my Q's to be lined up. And so even if I am confident, there are some things that can be addressed in the background, can always have bigger chest muscles, can always be more neuromuscularly more efficient. So like I can recruit more motor units in my brain to produce more force. That's really what we want to lock in on these past couple weeks. It is December, right? This is the second week of December when this happened. I have 2 to 3 more weeks left of the year, right? I want to hit my goal by the end of the year. And so, like any diligent lifter should be doing, I went ahead and planned out my workouts for the rest of the year. So I know what to expect, know when to push, know, I kind of got to bump the sleep up a little bit, kind of heighten recovery, do whatever I can, right? I know I get one more full rotation, do my weekly workouts, which means I get at least 3 more heavy pressing opportunities on the bar. I know the week after that, I cut the workout short. I can only get 3 of the 5 workouts in because just with time, I figured it'd be more effective to get 2 pressings, a little leg work in, and then deload from there, right? Not really focused on the legs right now. Very tunnel vision on this goal. The legs will come next year, but use that to my opportunity. Let's see. I don't know if we've discussed this before, but fatigue, if any of you guys have played Pokemon, it's kind of like an HP bar, right? You every workout kind of sips away from that HP bar, and then when it hits 0, you start to get under recovered. I can't think of the correct words, but basically fatigue is your HP, right? You only have so much. You want to balance that with the battles. Think of like the battles as being workouts. Each workout gives you more stimulus, more experience. As you get that, you level up. But you got to find that balance there, right? And so that's what we're doing. While we're on this subject, right, this is where the variation comes in with fatigue management, right? You saw me pressing 315 earlier, even though I've never done it from a regular rack height all the way down, whatever. Things like shortening the range of motion will help you with fatigue. Changing exercises to a degree can help with fatigue because some exercises like the Larson press are self-limiting, right? And these self-limiting exercises, you're not going to be able to go all out like you would be. I have no leg drive in the Larson press, so I'm not really stable. So I have to teach myself stability with the pin presses. I'm starting from a dead stop, right? I don't have that eccentric phase that where you lower the weight and kind of tighten up to rebound off of, to give me a push. So variations can be useful in that regard for helping to manage fatigue and to address certain qualities, right? Now, I don't think anything else in this video is too new. So at this point, I believe it would be beneficial for us to, just for me, to discuss what I think worked over these past couple months versus what wasn't working before, right? I will say the biggest thing, damn, it's so many big things. The biggest thing is I just wasn't benching enough, man. There is a certain talent and skill and knowledge that gets built in repetition, just doing something hundreds of times, that you're missing out if you don't do it. You're definitely missing out. Your body, even without you thinking it, I've learned this years ago, will learn these little tweaks, these little cheats to make it easier. Like if you're doing a circuit round, you might get up a little slower after doing your burpees as you transition to catch more breaks. When I was doing my pin press, even though I started from the concentric portion of the exercise, I was still getting a little eccentric when I rode myself into the bar, create a little tightness in my upper back, in my chest. This is all without thinking, right? So you learn these little cheats from repetition. And so while it is annoying to hear someone say, if you want to grow your bench, your squat, your deadlift, you have to do it more, it is true. There is magic in the work you've been avoiding. That is not my quote, so don't quote me on it. This next tip is like 5-in-1. So you guys are ready to get the deal of a lifetime. I noticed, let's start from the top, from an overarching view. I have pictures from 2022. I'll probably upload them or you go back and check the videos, who knows. I was skinny. Like I don't even know how it happened. I think I was just a little low on funds and just when I was trying to start my business and trying to figure things out. And I had lost a ton of weight, right? I've always been kind of chunky and kind of around that 200. But in 2022, I dropped down to like near 182 and I dropped weight. I believe I dropped weight. I know I dropped weight the wrong way because from then until now, when I realized I'm too light, I gained like almost 40 pounds. I went to like 180 to 220. And what I noticed is my strength started coming back rapidly. And I've come to the conclusion that when I was that skinny, when I was dropping weight, I was not eating enough protein. So either I was not eating enough protein, not doing enough dedicated chest work, my chest muscles had sucked. So you need big muscles, right? You got to eat, you got to get enough protein in, and you got to get enough work in with the exercises. So along that vein, after gaining all that weight, all these chest exercises, the dedicated work 3 times a week, that frequency, the stretch, the pushing, the variation, my chest has become a lot more prominent from this video to if you look back to when I started, like it just pokes out. My shirts just fit differently these days and it feels nice. So big mistake, like 4 wrapped in 1. Don't drop weight without getting enough protein because you don't want to lose too much muscle. Make sure you get enough dedicated frequency in and repetitions in. Make sure you're getting enough stretch in. Make sure you're working different qualities of the exercise. Another banger of a tip that I've learned both consciously and subconsciously from watching and learning more from advanced lifters is that more than any other exercise, it seems, it's probably being hyperbolic, the bench has the greatest potential to irritate the hell out of the muscles it is using if you are not super attentive, right? What do I mean by that? If you are not practicing scapular retraction, if you do not have a lot of upper back tightness, if you do not press more with your chest than your shoulders and your delts, you kind of see how people, sometimes when they bench, they drop the bar to their chest, kind of flop like a fish and kind of like do that weird movement to get the bar up. It's going to irritate your shoulder, right? And so what you can do against that is, 1, bench correctly, get that upper back tightness, but you can do a little more dedicated work to the shoulders. And this isn't really an issue. I noticed in the gym, just after being in the gym for years, a lot of people seem to sleep on your shoulders for some damn reason. Like, yes, they're nice for aesthetic purposes, so the bodybuilders cover them, but I am one to believe that everyone can use a good bit of dedicated shoulder work. If you are in the gym, you need to be working out your shoulders, because if you just look around at the gen pop, we're in prison now, then like it seems that a lot of people have shoulder issues, especially when they get older. They lose the ability to raise their arms above their head to a degree, to raise their arms above their head with weight, to kind of do that over and back, go through that full range of motion with your shoulder. And this could be for a lot of reasons, right? I don't know how to portray this the correct way to you guys, but I'm going to try. I was watching a video, and it just seemed like Dr. Mike, one of Dr. Mike's video about the shoulders, and the way the shoulders are just created in the human body, like there's just the potential for not a lot, but a good bit to go wrong. So you need shoulder work. You need to strengthen your shoulders. A lot of people have weak shoulders, and if you don't get it, it's going to show up later in your life. Hopefully, you don't tear a rotator cuff. I've seen what happens when you do that. Right, my grandmother did that. It's a lot of work to rebuild, and you're going to have to start from zero. But dedicated shoulder work can help you avoid that, and it can help you bench, right? External rotations, internal rotations, abdicating the shoulder. So like lifting that elbow away from the body, right? These things, training them with resistance, lightweight, high reps until your body gets strong enough can help your tendons and joints get a little stronger so they don't get as beat up from the bench press. And let's see, we talked about the shoulders, we talked about the chest. Lastly, let's just talk about the triceps, right? Learn what an exercise is doing, right? Whatever. We know a squat is lowering and standing back up with the weight, but like be knowledgeable, have some kind of context to what the muscle is doing in the exercise. That way you can train it both in that exercise like that, but you can also work on those qualities outside of the exercise, right? That lockout portion of the bench press works on fully extending your elbows, right? To fully use those triceps. And so work on that in the bench, out the bench, practice that movement, right? Like even dips, although the form is not the exact same, the way your arms press in the dip is very similar to how your arms are in the bench press, in my opinion. So work on all the qualities that an exercise uses to get better at that exercise, right? We're going to keep it going. Don't get complacent in the gym, right? I am very good at this. I've noticed this. It is very easy to get complacent if you are in the country like me, in a small town, in a non-commercial gym, right? Not the Y is a community center. Not everybody there is super dedicated, although there are a ton of people there who are super dedicated. So do not get me wrong. But if you are the strongest person in your gym, it's very easy to become content with the weights you're lifting. And sometimes, I know we all feel this, or maybe it's just me, those weights can be intimidating. They can be scary. So you can kind of trick yourself into thinking, I'm pushing hard enough. I don't need to push more. And this is something I've suffered from in the past, right? Journaling can help you with this so you can look at your workouts over time. Surrounding yourself with stronger people can help with this so you subconsciously push more because you see others are higher than you if you're competitive. But if you want results, if you do not want to be stuck as a lifetime intermediate, right? Complacency is the devil. Complacency is your worst enemy. And it's your enemy within, right? You're going to have to look within, ask yourself these questions, be honest, look objectively at what you're doing, and tell yourself, right? Chad Wesley Smith said this about like intermediates and progressing. Like in the beginning, everybody says this. In the beginning, we are rewarded with super hard efforts in the gym, right? You go loco, you go crazy, pushing yourself to extraordinary lengths creates extraordinary results, right? That's why intermediates grow so fast. Our bodies are unadapted. The stimulus is very new, and so we grow rapidly from it. It's effective, right? But at some point in the game, we all hit that stage where you just can't do more than you did last week. And that is where you have to be strategic. That is where you have to rid yourself of the complacency, humble yourself, and get the correct stimulus in, right? And I think we all know this to some degree because I figured this out subconsciously earlier in the year. Read a book and it's like, bro, the sauce has been cooking in the pot the whole time. You just didn't check the dang sauce. You didn't check on it. You didn't stir it, right? You have to increase the average workload over time. It's really just that simple. This is not rocket science. The average amount of weight you're lifting has to improve, and you have to balance that with recovery. You're not going to be able to bang out a set of 8, 10 with a super heavy weight, super heavy to you. But if you can get the right amount of reps and it's all varies person to person. I'm a very volume heavy person. If you can get the right amount of reps and balance that with rest, you're golden. That's it. That's why you might switch from fives to threes to ones as the weight gets heavier. You might do less reps, but overall, you are still touching heavier weights more than you were before. And if you continue to touch heavier weights, even if it's a pound heavier, even if it's 2.5 pounds heavier, you are going to see improvements. Your body is going to adapt. Your body likes homeostasis. So if you present it with more, it's going to be like, yo, we've got to grow. We've got to change. And this is where your growth comes from. And a lot of people forget this because to a degree, it is challenging to push yourself, right? Like, it does not always feel good. I know a consistent thought I've had over this year is, damn, when do the weights get lighter? Like, every day is a heavy workout now. Like, this stuff is hard. Like, some workouts I come out of and my soul is gone, man. I am drained. But like, this is the game. This is the fun of the game. You have to always hold yourself to a high standard. You know what you're capable of. You know what you've done in the past. It is your job to seek improvement. So I know this video has been long. We're getting to the end. We're at that portion where I have a lot to say, but not left to say it. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe down below, share with a friend. I hope the content is useful. Let me know I can be more useful to you guys. I appreciate all of you for watching and caring what I'm saying. But we're talking fast. I'm sorry, deal with it. Don't be afraid to experiment with your training, right? For some reason, I have God tier endurance, right? I think it's from my base in cross country. I've learned over the years I can handle a lot more volume than what is typically prescribed to people, and so I use that to my advantage. I am not scared to throw in the myo rep match set at the end of, say, some hamstring curls or some chest flies to get a little more stimulus, because I know for the most part, feel it out my body, I'm going to recover. I have a lot of endurance. I can squeeze in more work than others, and so I will take that to my advantage, right? Let's see. One time, I think during this past cycle, I went up to 7 sets of bench in one workout, like flat bench. And they were like singles or doubles, don't get me wrong. But I can afford to do that because I'm endurance heavy. I know my body will recover. And I am taking advantage of these little things that other people may not be able to do. Yeah, it may not be in the science yet, or it may not be specifically stated. But if it works for me, then hey, it works for me. I'm going to use whatever advantage I can to get ahead. So with that being said, we have 5 seconds left. Thank you guys for watching, and we're gonna hit that goal real soon.